Hi darlings, I'm just going to start recording because otherwise I'll just sit here for another 5-6 hours staring at my screen, looking at things, looking up stuff, and getting further and further away from actually making a video. So let's just do this. Looking at the sky right now, we're just right now bang in the middle of the Milky Way. In this 13th sign of Fucus, on this fake hero that we know so much about because I've been talking about it in all my past videos. My eyes something just crossed the screen that there's been a shooting somewhere in America of 13 people. So they're really knocking up this Solstice celebration. We've had massive storms where I live, real Wizard of Oz stuff. I was 2 days last week without any electricity, and last night, yesterday, the whole southwest of France, so especially Bordeaux, which is the 33rd department, which is crucifixion, climate change is CC, Christ consciousness, CC. We're at 33, we're living the crucifixion. We've just had pictures of George, the little grandson of the Queen, cutting up cakes. Let's go and have a look at that. I've got so much stuff open here. Where is that little, what's that? Let's go and have a look. It's up, I posted it. It just, Prince George bakes Christmas puddings with the Queen in special royal photo. So I haven't properly 4 generations, so this is everything to do with what's going on right now, because we're at the last. So here we are, we're coming back to the 4th corner, which I'm going to be explaining. So there we've got the 4 continents. We either split further now from 13 or we merge back into 1. They want us to split further. So we've got George. St. George is the fixed cross. It is the dragon, and the dragon is the Milky Way that's already been split 3 times, and they want to split it a 4th time. So the Queen and 3 future kings have joined together to bake one of the nation's future festival treats. So there we go. The Queen Bee. You can only ever have 3. That's why we always have the 3 Marys, the Trinity, the 3 crosses, the mutable, fixed and cardinal, the sine wave, the snake is always the point of the equinox. And then it stops in the middle before it goes back down and comes back. So there's always the 3 points. I've got the sine wave up here. Sine wave. Yeah. So you see, we go from the equinox, we go to the center, and we come over to the descendant. So the rising of the sun, the middle, Taurus field, the middle, and that's always 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And when we get to the 4th, where we are now, there's more splitting, or we wake up and we return to the wheel of 8, which is what's going on right now. So we've got those 3 sine wave kings with the Queen Bee, so that they want to create a singularity now. So here we've got 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is all to do about the Enneads, which was the first splitting, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces. That's the mutable cross, and 9 is Sagittarius, when the first splitting of the snake happened. You can really see that Prince Charles is a little old lady now. Oh, goodness. There they are. And we've got here the 4. We've got the 4 on the last one, and St. George the dragon on that Milky Way splits of the 4 continents. Such a joke. Okay. We're officially on the solstice at 5:19 a.m. this morning. And this is all about, you see, we've got a conjunction of Jupiter and the Sun right in the middle of the Milky Way. This solstice is happening right in the middle of the Milky Way. So the Milky Way is the snake, and that was the beginning of the first split of Osiris and Isis. So we're back to Isis again. Scorpio, they've created this 13th sign to split us, to keep us as these fake heroes. And the mutable cross that's ruled by Jupiter and Mercury, Mercury's coming up, and for the solar eclipse that we have on the 26th, on Boxing Day, to crown Lord of the Rings, Mercury will be right on the right knee of this hero. That's why in the James Bond films, he keeps getting banged in the knee and below the knee is ruled by Saturn, that rules this true twin peaks that's going to be the new equinox. So Jupiter is trying to own the new solstice, and he can only do that this year. This is his year of being back in this number 9, the 9th house, Sagittarius. We're leaving the mutable cross, and Sagittarius has been ruling this past age, sitting on the top, and it's now going to shift to Scorpio, not to this 13th sign. Scorpio and Libra will be taking back as the twin peaks of the solstice, as Capricorn and Aquarius will be taking over the equinox. Opposite them, we will have, for the fall of the sun, the new Asia, which is going to be Leo and Cancer. Up, Leo and Cancer. So this is going to be the new East. That's why in Australia they've got this red sun, because the red sun is the setting. The sun now sets over in the east. And that is going to be the new triads. So we'll have America that's going to create the sine wave exactly on Hawaii. That's why the president of Australia, Scott Morris, so T-Rex Scotty, the sword in the stone, the fixed cross of St. George. That's why the Queen's with George. They're showing us the new 3 kings with the Queen Bee. Is going to be from Hawaii, and they want to put their 13th sign. That's why they've got all these storms going on here. And the 3rd point is going to be Australia, Asia over here. There's only ever the above wheel, the arc, which shows us the material realm. That's as long as we're in purgatory, the wheel is split in half. But this is our opportunity to go through the gateway, and that's not going to happen until that all these planets in Sagittarius come into Capricorn next winter solstice. So this celebration's going on now is Jupiter trying to claim as this 13th sign, representing further splitting of the snake. That's why if you follow the news in Australia, it's called News at 9 or something, and the fire brigade number is 180, which is the same thing in New Zealand. They're killing all life with 1080, 180 just represents the split, the arc, the half of the wheel, the snake that splits the wheel, because the wheel's 360 and half is 180. So Scotty Morrison, the Morris dancers, they hold the cross. The cross is the mutable cross. Here we go. Mutable cross. Coming up. Yeah, I've been sitting preparing stuff for hours and hours now, so the computer's getting a bit chock-a-block. So here we go. This is the cross, the mutable cross. When we're in a mutable age and we're in this last corner now, this is the 12th door, and we've had the 3 passages of the underworld, the 3 Marys. So the first split was Sagittarius. We've gone all the way through. We had these every time we've had a mutable cross, and we're coming out of a last mutable. You see, we're going to go back to this Maltese cross of 4 twin peaks. Capricorn, Aquarius are going to take over here. Scorpio and Libra are going to come on top. Leo and Cancer are going to be the east, and Aries and Taurus will be below, and that represents Taurus, the Bible, the cow, the electromagnetic heart pulse will be restored, and we can escape this duality. The wheel expands and contracts, just like an octopus, 8-legged octopus. When you see it moving in the sea, it opens up and closes in, and opens up and closes in. It contracts and expands. And we've just finished the last expansion, and that's why we've been given this tilt of the Earth, 23.5, because that's what happens when we come onto this mutable cross that we're leaving right now. The stars are going to be Fomalhaut, Antares, and Regulus is going to be the east door. And Aldebaran will be the bottom. The bullseye is the new Queen Bee electromagnetic pulse that creates the whirl. The eye of the beholder will be restored back at the bottom of the wheel. And this, I've got this map here. I've been looking at maps. Last night I found wonderful, remember those old atlases? Oh, we've got the storm going again. I lost electricity again last night. The whole of the 33rd Crucifixion Department of Southwest France has been destroyed. I hope I don't lose electricity again. Now, you see on this map, we've got Hawaii right here. And this is going to make the next V with, so this is where I live here, and this is where we've just had on all this part of France, just here, the storms. So this is representing the new sine wave. Now they've got Hawaii here, but Fomalhaut, which you see, this is actually Fomalhaut. We've got Mexico, and they're celebrating Hawaii. Now Hawaii represents the how wow we had during the last World War. We had Lord Hee Haw, how wow, who was in charge of all the major propaganda, which is very much what's going on in Australia with these fires and the dams being dried up. They're drying up the true force of the electromagnetic pulse. So let's kind of go smaller. Yep, smaller again. And look, interesting, they've got New Zealand Lord of the Rings right at the bottom here. Now this isn't completely correct. This is what they would like. going to make me wait. What's going on? So I'm just trying to work this out. So we're going to have the new sine wave up here. Okay, so why? I've got New Zealand at the bottom, and you see this angle is the V of the 22 TAV, and here an angle here, and this angle here represents this part. So you see Mexico, Hawaii, coming back to the heart, and we can merge back now as the Maltese cross shows us. So see, the Maltese cross is when the twin peak ages, we go back to a wheel of 8, and they pretty much tell us the Maltese cross is a cross symbol consisting of 4 V's. So V is 22, it's TAV, it's the omega, so that's 4 times 22, and we're at the last V. This is the last V for victory. Arrowhead, that's why on the top of St. Paul's you've got the Orion figure, or the Osiris figure, or the Saint Martin figure with his arrow head, or his compass, as in the Freemason, showing that he's taking over this last wheel, and he's got his V upside down like that, closing and blocking, putting the dam to the electromagnetic pulse that should merge us back into this Twin Peaks. Concave quadrilaterals converging at a central vertex at right angles, 2 tips pointing outwardly symmetrically. It is a heraldic cross variant which developed from earlier forms of 8-pointed crosses in the 16th century, although chiefly associated with the Knights Hospitaller, Order of St. John. So you see, this is the fixed cross. They want to stick us on Aquarius, opposite Leo, with Scorpio and Taurus as the equinox, and Aquarius and Leo, when actually it's a twin. You see, this is the cross, this is the sword in the stone, but we're actually coming back to double twin peaks. We're going to lose the mutable cross in the middle, this, which has given us the tilt. The Pisces, Sagittarius, Virgo, Gemini is always when the wheel expands, and then we come back. That's why there's all this stuff about mud flood, because whenever we go from 8 back to 12, there is always a mass of people that disappear. We were told by, I'll be taking you to show, I won't start that now, I'll be taking you to show you my post of the past 4 weeks to show you this. But we're leaving this mutable cross now, and we're merging back to these twin peaks. Okay. When at the moment we've got Saturn, we've got Jupiter, and we've got Pluto somewhere around here, all in Sagittarius. And next year, for the winter solstice, they will all be moving into Capricorn. So we're going to be heading off this new twin peak, merging with the female Earth, Capricorn. But all mainstream astrologers have told us that it's beginning on Aquarius, which would give us that fixed cross, which is not the Maltese twin. You see, this is a twin age. They don't tell us that. They want to keep us, they want to separate us further. For them, they're beginning the separation where we become we go towards, you know, we go into dystopia from now on. That's why, you know, we went from the splitting of the female twins, and now we're beginning the male twins of Romulus and Remus, because we go towards this dystopia if we let ourselves get split into this officious 13th sign that doesn't exist. The wheel ends at 12. At 12 is when we merge back to the 4. So this is a big ritual because we've got a Sun and a Jupiter conjunction in the Milky Way, and on the 26th for the solar eclipse, so where's the moon? Here's the moon, so let's see that happening. Okay, so we're going to have a new black moon right in this Milky Way, this solar eclipse. So this is going to be the storms that they've had right now, and all the drama going on. I mean, there's strikes all over France, the fires in Australia. There's now the witch hunt beginning of the anti-Semites searching for people in France. I mean, we're in the total Mad Hatter. This constellation, if I can show you the constellations here of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is, we've got the teapot, and you can't, there we go, there's the teapot. You see the teapot? This is the teapot. So this is going to be the Boxing Day Lord of the Rings, is going to be the set-off of this Mad Hatter's tea party. And this is really meant to represent the end of the journey of the 88 constellations, the HH, and we get ready to come back and to merge back. This is contraction, Saturn is contraction, Jupiter is the end of the expansion. So this swirly, whirling tempest is really going to be set off here for the coming solar eclipse. And then there's a lunar eclipse on the 10th of January. You can go see that. I'll be showing it to you on charts as well. I haven't actually looked at it here on Stellarium yet. So the moon will be opposite in Gemini. Yep, it's going to be right on this Sirius. So the beginning of the split of this snake, the Milky Way, we're exactly back on this Sirius opposition, the Sagittarius opposite Gemini. And so we'll have, here we go, the moon will be right bang on Sirius. And Sirius was the beginning of the Hellenistic Egyptian 9 deities. That's why we've got the 9 people being shown off with the Queen. This is their star, this is their Sirius star. So I'm going to show you that on the charts. I post since the last video. This was the election. So on the day of the election, we had this full moon, and this full moon was on the correct MC, IC, ascendant, descendant, equinox, solstice, which is going to be the new twin peak age that we enter from next year. So that's why it was so important to create the Tory victory, because Tor represents the Taurus field, which this Taurus I see, and with everybody being so angry with the Taurus, with the Tories, that creates more sword and stone, more hate for her natural electromagnetic spin. Just like there was an earthquake at Tor, Glastonbury, just the day after they put above the labyrinth of where I live in Aignan, araignée, eight-legged spider. They put a right spin swastika decoration on top of the labyrinth, and the day after I said that they'd done that to block her, the very day afterwards there was a 3.2 earthquake, which represents 32, or the state of grace, or 23, which is our DNA strands, which is this fake tilt of Earth. So we've actually got that 23.5 tilt. And this is, that's why that whole election, I mean, everything is just talking about as above, so below. That doesn't want to click onto other pictures. Okay. So I had explained all that here. Scorpio is the J in the sky, the Joker. Are you not going to let me go from photo to photo? What's this? Why doesn't it want to let me go from photo to photo? Why can't I click? So this is, we've had 3 fixed cross passages, and the last one is trapped in the circle, the cercueil. And this character is actually buried in a secret tomb where I live. And I actually had a weird dream that I was prepared for an anointment to be killed as this person not long ago. Yep. So you can see here what was going on. This is, you've got, we had right on the snake, the cross here, we had this conjunction here, and we had this right on the Milky Way, that was the, yes, for the 12/12, that date. Okay, we don't want to look at that right now. This is all showing where I live, so this was really the last Roman passage. Now, interesting, they don't let me go through the pictures here. Now I'm allowed to go through the pictures. So you see, this is where I am, where the labyrinth is, Aignan. We've got over here Saint-Martin d'Armagnac. So Saint-Martin is Officius. He is the free martin, the sterilization of the female. In Huxley's book, A Brave New World, 70% of women will be free martins, sterile, which is what happens if we let the wheel split a 4th time and we go from 13 into the underworld. We've got here Puy de Draguin, which is the castle where Willie and Kate came to on holiday. 5 minutes. We've got Zion just here. We've got Lupiac, the birthplace of Lupercalia and Romulus and Remus. And we've got Saint-Mont, which is the place of the Sermon on the Mount. I've written something. It's not really stuff. It's so obvious that the Roman Gaulois Empire was here, where I lived, last settlement for the Holy Grail. Our village has a labyrinth. Our postcode is 32290, so 322 is skull and bones. 9 is to keep that symbolic 9th. We come back to Sagittarius with the last 10th door, 10 Downing Street of the Solstice. And we're back to Sagittarius again, and this is where we either split further. The Skull and Bone Mutable Cross, it was the capital of the Gaulois Centre and where the Black Prince, Acca Prince of Wales and Cornwall conquered southwest France. You can go and look that up, Edward the Black Prince. The name of our village comes from Araignée, Aignan, because this is where they hold down her energy to weave her tapestry. Charlotte's wife's web, she was turned to stone, as was her étoile d'araignée. In Paris, l'étoile has got 12 roads leading from the Arc de Triomphe. but the true spider goes back to 8. Tor Glastonbury heart chakra is blocked from here. That's why they still kill bulls here to put a dam, to dam her waters, flow, wolf, and why my dog Happy died, as 8 bulls, 8 legs of her octopussy were killed on Ishtar Easter Day this year, and why the 8th festival of D'Artagnan was held here this year too. Obviously, the heart is the Bible, electromagnetic spin. It's a cow, not a Bible. Taurus, 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 torso spin. That's why Tor had an earthquake of 3.2, makes 32. This department, state of grace, is 32. Blah, blah. They put a T-Rex Scotty Templar sword in her stone. That's why we've got the Prime Minister, whatever he is, of Australia, Scott Morris. It's the dance, the cross, the Morris dancers of the maypole. The maypole, Taurus, is May in her stone to make her barren. That's what Freemartins do. They make her sterile, petrified, or turned to stone. D'Artagnan is simply the 4th corner, angle, arc, angle. Michael is just the last corner, L, so that's also a V. And that's how this joins in with the Maltese cross. We're at the last angle, the last V, the last compass, the last 22, the last Alpha Omega, changing of the guards, Equinox, which is what Saint Martin or Ophiuchus, whatever you want to call him, Orion is doing on the top of St. Paul's with that William Blake painting. So yes, this area was full. It was the oak tree, the last leg, the true North Star Fomalhaut that they want to take over with Aldebaran, Orion, Dorian, Grey. D'Artagnan was born here. Acca, they knew we held the state of grace as Narnia or Arthur's Round Table was the forest of oak trees that held all the Roman baths and nymphs as Sevillac, why Somerset also had Roman baths, direct line to here as Tor, and that's, you can go and see these Roman baths, which now they've all been hidden, but there were pools of water everywhere in this area and oak forests. Now only one is left. They got rid of all the natural hot baths and sources of water here. In Lupiac, Lu, Wolf, Lu, Diac, Zodiac, because it's the end of the age and the home of R, Romulus and Remus. No one knows the exact origin of Lupercalia, but has been traced back as far as the 6th century BC. According to Roman legend, BC, Billy Connolly, I'll be showing you that in a minute, are JC, Jesus Christ, John Cleese, and Billy Connolly. Roman legend, the ancient king Amulius ordered Romulus and Remus, his twin nephews and founders of Rome, to be thrown into the Tiber River to drown in retribution for their mother's broken vow of celibacy. Also, we have Saint Mont-Sermon on the mount here, and of course the Lion Gates representing the new age we enter in Orge, the capital of the 32nd department. Also, why Kate and Willie came 5 minutes from here to the castle Puy Dragon on Halls last year, Dwell of the Dragon, and that's a news article about that. La Semaine Gersoise de Katie William. The list goes on, but we also have Zion, Akka Zion here, where I went to check out a couple of days ago. Zion, Hebrew, Zalian, modern, tiresome, also translated as Zion, blah, blah, is a place name often used as a synonym for Jerusalem as well as for the land of Israel as a whole. So I was just showing that with the pictures, but that's not what we want to see. So we've got this character, and this character is called, okay, so regarding, he was saying that yesterday people were going to have a pop-off disappearing, which is pretty much what may happen for next year. So he was telling us that was happening as the sun was on this fake hero, and his name in Jewish gematria actually makes 13, so the 13th sign. That's why 13 people have just been killed. I'm not sure where it is. There's been some shooting in America. And 15 represents Mercury, so 13 represents Sagittarius, 15 represents Mercury, that's MJ, as does Sagittarius. Ophiuchus. Well, I've done loads of work to explain that Ophiuchus is the fake 13th sign in Sagittarius Scorpio, ruled by Jupiter, the fake hero, and that Orion is Ophiuchus in disguise, or Saint Martin, or Saint George, so that's why we've got George now baking the cake. All these Joker, Jesus, Johnsons, Jupiter, charlatan characters. So claims of 1221 being an ascension date is just an energy-sucking crap trap. It's a trap to kill the true 2112, 2020 Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, as Jupiter will fall in 2020 Christmas solstice. This is about killing the snake, her, and Saturn. So the 144,000 are trapped before their time, although I do feel a pop-off may happen. So Ophiuchus holds apart the serpent with its mighty spirals and twisted body, encircles his own, so that he may untie his knots and back that winds in loops. But bending its supple neck, the serpent looks back and returns, and the other's hands slide over the loosened coils. The struggle will last forever, since they wage it on level terms with equal powers. This is where we're heading now with the new sustainable equity, all the echo, the green man, you know, we're going into this, there'll be no more religions, there'll just be ritualistic sacrifices, living forever, and, you know, it's not what we want at all. Amazingly, the sign of Scorpio, the scorpion, is on the opposite side of the zodiac to Taurus, the bull, and just as the Giza pyramids are tied to Taurus through Orion's belt, when in fact the Giza pyramids are actually the 3 stars of the North Star Fomalhaut. Orion is Ophiuchus, the trap, and to the person of Yeshua, the Messiah, the Hawaiian Islands are tied to the sign of Scorpio. However, Scorpio is dominated by the constellation Ophiuchus, the serpent holder for most of its length. This is not just a coincidence. They are placed this way in the heavens to show the great enmity that exists between the children who follow Yahweh in imitation of the patriarch Joseph and our Messiah Yeshua, who is represented by Ophiuchus, and the children of the devil depicted by Scorpio and its deacon constellation Serpens the serpent. In fact, in mimicry of the key messianic prophecy in Genesis 3:15, so we've got that 13:15, Ophiuchus signifies Yeshua as the seed of the woman crushing the head and the body of the serpent, signified by Scorpio, which represents Satan. This is why the Scorpio's head and tail are under Ophiuchus's feet. For just as Satan literally injured Christ's heel with a nail on the cross, Yeshua will one day crush Satan's head under his feet when his white horse tramples God's enemies underneath their hooves. Well, we've just had in New Zealand the we've had the earthquake at White Island, which is, you know, this is as we've just seen on that map, New Zealand is going to be the new foot. It's going to be the new foot here of the cross. Okay, so this is just explaining we had Venus in Capricorn. Yeah. So if we come back here, get rid of this now. If we go back to, let's go back to now, and we go back to the 21st. So Venus is just in Capricorn, and Venus, they want to make her rounded, petaled, 5-sequence flower in the sky as the goat's third eye, Baphomet. So this is really the celebration of the Baphomet, Jupiter, using his mate, partner in crime, Mercury, and Venus to turn her into the Baphomet. And so he's got all his gang lined up, and this is who this Jesus lookalike guy, Delvin Elon Maggi. And you see we also had, we had the moon in Virgo, and she's coming up for the black moon's total solar eclipse coming up here. It's all trying to get the power, because when everybody comes into Capricorn, there's, you know, the game is really over. It's just about getting through this year of the Tempest and the Mad Hatter's Tea Party here on the teapots. On this teapot. You see, we're right in the teapot right now. This is all set off, and they are all going to be passing over. And I have the whole teapot party here for this Lord of the Rings, Boxing Day, Muhammad Ali, Clockwork Orange set off. And once people get, so this, we've got this solar eclipse, and then we're going to have the lunar eclipse, and that's going to be very much the Solomon seal. And I would reckon that probably the Brexit results will come out for that lunar eclipse, and that is what's going to set off Looney Tunes. Let's have a look at those two cards. This, you can catch up with what I'm doing on my page, Petronelle de Papillon, or go to my page. This is funny. Oh no, it's taking me off to something else. I don't want something else. Oh, okay, they're going to show us this jiffy. Okay, show us the jiffy. In a jiffy, please. Okay, so this is the funny jiffy. Star Wars. You see, we've got the Tin Man, got the lion. We've got this. This is exactly, those four corners is exactly what we've just been shown with the Queen. You've got the female, which is the Taurus, which is the cow, which is the heart chakra. You see, there we have, we've got exactly the same. We've got the three, we've always got the sine wave. They want to keep male with the queen bee, the bee east, the beast. Okay. Please don't block on me. Right. Oh, it doesn't want me to go very fast, but we'll have a look. So in another table, the table is filled with 4 bowls. It's a little bit like Goldilocks. Goldilocks and the 3 bears making porridge. Here we go. We've got the 4. I mean, you just can't make this shit up. Give me a break. Oh. Christmas pudding is like mince pie. It's like tartare, steak tartare, which is the French raw meat. Tartare, which is like the tartan. We've got the T-Rex Scotties here. We've got the 9 people, the 9 signs, but I wanted to show you. We've got, so this is basically, we've got Princess Leia, we've got Dorothy, and we've got the lion and the Tin Man, and it's exactly the same thing. So where's that jiffy gone? Jiffy, animated jiffy. There they are. It's always the same thing. We've got the 1 female electromagnetic pulse, and they want to keep 3 patriarchal, sword in the stone, word in the tone. You know, we are controlled by language. That's how they keep us stuck in the material realm, through spells, spelling. Okay, let's come back here. So now this is regarding Hawaii. So Hawaii, and it's on ScoMo's tab. The Catch-22, 2020 Mad Hatters, How Wow I Tempest, T-Rex Scotty party has begun. It's going to get crazy out there. Plasma events and 26 Boxing Day Lord of the Rings. Venus makes a 5-petal flower in the sky. She is the electromagnetic spin of our heart. She rules Taurus, the Taurus heart chakra. Opposite is the lotus flower opening of our hearts, Scorpio, which is going to be the new solstice, top. The snake is the flow when it merges again. Amazingly, the sign of Scorpio, the scorpion is on the Libra. That's what I've just read you. So this is why he went to Hawaii. And I'll show you the pictures because that's more exciting. So there he is, and we've got Hawaii 50. 50 is 50. 50-50 represents this halving crossover. That's why the fire brigade in Australia is 180 telephone number, because the 18 is the splitting of the 360 degree to keep us always in the heart, one side of the mirror, in one arc. That's why you have the Arc de Triomphe with the 12, the 12. This is a video which pretty much explains what's going on in Australia. No, I don't want you to have the echo. Okay, let's get rid of this. Skip ads. Now this video is done by one of my very dear friends who's become a top star in France, Polo. So we've got PP, Peter Pan. This is the same thing as Romulus and Remus. It's why we've got the two boys, and it represents in Huckleberry Finn. You've got the two boys, and you've got Pan, the green man. So this is basically showing us the destroying of Australia, which is what's happening in Australia now. Yeah, so this boy, he was my DJ when I used to work in Paris, and he was an incredible artist, but he was taken and used. Funnily, he's born in Saint-Aignan, and I now live in Aignan. So again, that spider connection. He's not aware of all this. When he brought out this video, I tried to tell him how occult it all was, but he couldn't have known what was going to happen. And have a look at this video. I think I'm going to block the sound because they might block me. So you see this, we've got the Jungle Book, we've got the Oregon, the orangutan, orange, the Oregon. Here we've got Hawaii, which is going to be taking over. And we've got the atomic bomb, we've got the magician, Darwin, there we've got Huckleberry Finn, and the other character, we've got the Dorothy, we've got the four corners. And you see that image? That is the M, and I have found, look at this. Okay, well that's the sine wave. Look at this. See this M? This is like the MM of the age of Aquarius. And this is why Australia is so important, because I've been talking about Momo, which is also, M is also a W. And when you see, I've got so many cards open here. Have a look. Okay, yeah, that was something I was looking at. So I've got so much open here, but this is something incredible I've noticed in Australia. Not that one. You see that Australia, this is a card that represents the constellations of the sky on the map, and you see that there is the M, the W, so you see the west is now going to become the east, so that can be an E or a W or an M. So Australia is going to be the new M, the west. That's why in the Doors song, The End, the west is the best, the west is the B, east, E, E. And it's going to be, it's also the 3 of the 13, see, and when the B becomes a B, it's because the 3 has got a sword up the spine, or a penis up the spine, so there's that W, and and there we've got that split. Yeah. Again, see, we've got Hawaii, and in fact these are just 3 corners. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Or you can go this way. Oh, no, it's going to go this way. 1, 2, 3. 1. Yeah, that's because that's why the Masons only ever show us 3, because of the sine wave. The sine wave only hits the horizon line 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You see, 1, 2, 3. And so it's going to start with Hawaii. And okay, so come back to this little video. Oh, it's all finished. Alright, let's come back and watch this. Now we've got the atomic. And got those M's, the monster, Tin Man, Toto, the dog, which is Tortor. Then we get Shrunk, you see. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Closed up into smart cities. People are going to get shrunk. Going to get even smaller with every splits. And this is the green, all the, you know, I don't trust the whole Hyperborea stuff. This is the Emerald City, the Munchkins. Now the lunar eclipse, Looney Tunes, is on Oompa Loompa. I'm going to show you. It's in Malaysia. It's going to be the new East. And its longitude is 23.3. So here come the fake aliens, the green man. It's, you know, Jupiter wants to be the new ecology. And they have to do that by setting off the fire and ice. So the new equinox, we've got Asia, Australia is all in fire, and America is all in ice. And then we start the fires. and it's all, you know, it's Hawaii, Australia, Hawaii. And everything gets burnt. You know, what is going to happen this tempest year to stop us merging back into the eight wheel? Well, religion's certainly coming down, and that's Notre Dame. All the temples are being brought down. And people disappearing. There we've got the fires. And Dorothy representing the true female force. Okay, I thought that was important to show. That video's upset me since it came out 8 years ago. Okay, so we come back to, I'm going to show you the, we'll go through these Hawaii. So there we are. That is the last corner. So you see he's showing us the new equinox solstice, which is the last V. It's the last Maltese V TAV. So we've got from Hawaii, and the top is the 13th sign, Scorpio. And that is the last angle. And there are the Morris dancers showing us the mutable cross. So this is the last spin we're on. He's called Scott Morris. That is the dancers. Waltzing Matilda, Walt Disney, Waltz. You know, on the big wheel, you always have that angle, that V. Now this is, there's the maypole, the M again, that M. There's two corners owning the equinox, the west and the east. Hee Haw, Lord Hee Haw, the donkey shot, the last corner. And this guy again. Okay, because it's this fake Ophiuchus. Okay, now let me show you. These are the storms we had here yesterday. So this here is the 33rd department, crucifixion, where there's been a massive amount of fallen trees. Now we've got here, this is the solar eclipse. So the solar eclipse is happening on the 26th, Boxing Day, and it is happening between, so this is going to be the new solstice, Scorpio, that's going to be at the top, and the new, this side here is going to be here, so this is the last corner here. Here we've got the bow of the Sagittarius. We've got it being set off from the North Node Sirius, which is where the splitting of the snake began, when Sirius used to be the brightest star in the sky. It used to head off the solstice once upon a time. That's why 9/11 fell when this North Node was on Sirius, and Notre Dame fell. Now he's returned. He travels every 18 years, which again is that 180 division of the wheel. And so we've got Jupiter right conjunct and Mercury. So we've got MJ right on each side, crowning themselves the new Solomon seal. We've got this famous conjunction of Pluto and Saturn still. Everybody on the teapot. This is the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. Lord of the Rings, Clockwork Orange. and we've got Venus in Capricorn, which represents that 5-pointed star that we see on the head of the Baphomet. The Baphomet is not Saturn. Saturn is going to be ruling these twin peaks when we come back, when we leave this mutable cross and we merge back to the 2, to the 2, to the 2, and to the 2, to the 8 8s. The 8, 4 times 4, 8, the wheel will lose the duality, or you get further splits. And you see, not only that, but this equinox they've got right on Aldebaran and Taurus, which is going to be the new solstice. And they've got the Solomon right on the top for this eclipse, you know, when these guys are now going to be the falling of the sun on this side over here. This is Asia, this is Australia, is now representing these two up here. Okay, this is the lunar eclipse, so we'll have the Lune conjunct this time right on Sirius, on the North Node, and we will have the planet still in Sagittarius on that teapot. So this is a perfect, and this time we've got Jupiter and Saturn on each side of the eclipse, and this is really Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader battling for the new solstice, and Saturn is going to take back his crown from next year's solstice. It's just about getting through the crap that we're about to hit off. All this time we have Uranus in fire, Aries. That's why it's so insulting to listen to mainstream astrology who've got Uranus. At the moment they say he's in Taurus. He's not there yet. He's in fire, so he is, you see, making an angle to this fire in Sagittarius, hence all the fires. So you see the solar eclipse is going to be dominated by the South Node, Karma, and the lunar is going to be right on the North Node. And it's still this MJ, Mercury rules Gemini, Jupiter rules Scorpio, and it's their way for the cross and bone, skull and bone cross to try and keep a rule of us as we go into this new age. And this is what we had yesterday. Yeah, a crucifixion right on the cross. That's why 33, Bordeaux. We've just had all the storms. Again, same pictures. Okay. The Maltese cross, you see that these V's represent the 4 V's. And so we've just had the last. The wheel was perfect. And then we've had the 3 passages of Virgo. Virgo fell here at the equinox 12,000 years ago. Then we had the floods, the second passage, Virgo here, and now we're at the last passage of Virgo here, and she's going to give over she's going to, this is the last passage of the V before we merge back into this twin peak. And you see here, notably the order, the Polish Order of the White Eagle. Yep. Okay. There's one here. So you see, this is what they want to, the tilted Maltese cross of the Order of St. Maurice. So, this is why they give us this tilt. When we're on a mutable cross, we tilt, the cross tilts into a cross. We're going to leave that. We're going to go back upright. But back upright is in Twin Peaks. It's not the sword in the stone. They're not going to split us again. We can't get split again. We get merged back again. See, they want Leo, the East. They want the lion. The lion's meant to lie down on this equinox with the lamb, with Fomalhaut. And there we've got the name of the rose. It's called Saint Florian. That's interesting. Patron saint of firefighters. Saint Florian. And there's George. The George cross. So that's why we've got little George with his granny wanting to take over this last crossover. There we go. That's what they want. They want to fix us, crucify us. When we're merging back with our twin flames, we've got all the signs coming back. We're going to have Scorpio and Libra, Taurus and Aries. Here we're going to have Aquarius and Capricorn, and opposite Leo and Cancer. And this is the last V that they want to take over here. We will have had the 3 passages, and this is the last 4th corner, which represents Pisces. This is the area of Pisces. So we're leaving Pisces, and it comes clunk click onto this new twin peak. 8-pointed cross. 8-pointed cross. 8-pointed cross. I mean, you guys can join the dots as always much better than me, but the information, it's here if you can join the dots, and if we can just get through this fate crowning that we're living now. Let's come back to now. Let's get rid of this, and we're going through that Milky Way passage, and they're fighting for that angle which is between the Solstice and Hawaii is going to be the new. So if you see the snake, the Milky Way here goes from Isis to Orion. So Osiris and Isis, they got split at 9. Let's have a look at the Enneads. Here we go. This is the story of the Enneads. This was the first splitting, was the last time we were at the 9. So the Ennead, or Great Ennead, was a group of 9 deities. That's why they've got the 9 people here for the Queen and her little gang of 9. Okay, I was asking for too much. Uh-oh. It's all going to block. So it was a group of 9 deities in Egyptian mythology worshipped at Heliopolis, the sun god Atum. That's why I've got this Atum. His children Shu and Tefnut, their children Jeb and Nut, and their children Osiris and Osiris. Oops, you're taking me back over here. Okay, you're too slow. I want to go back here. So interesting, you see we've got Charlotte's wife, Charlotte's wed, Charlotte, and Louis is King Louis the orangutan, the name of their 3 children. Okay, so we've got these weird 9 people here. Okay, it's the Ennead, and they want to own. And don't forget that Sirius is also Sirius, spelt C-Y-R-U-S, Sirius the Great, the ruler of the 4 corners. And when this all began, Sirius was at the top, and he was the Solstice before, he was the star that began these 9 deities. So we come back to the Enneads. Okay, so his children Shu and Tefnut, their children Jeb and Nut, and their children Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys. The Ennead sometimes includes the son of Osiris and Isis, Horus. It rose to importance in dynasties 5 and 6 and remained prominent in Egypt into its occupation by the Macedonian Ptolemaic dynasty established by Alexander the Great, successor in the area. Okay, so was only one of several such groupings of 9 deities. So we're at the 4th grouping, 3. We're at the last V. And this is the end of that first split was 9. Now they're trying to split us again at 13. And it's not going to happen. The most important is the great or. And according to the creation story, the world originally consisted of the primordial waters of pre-creation personified as none. This is what I went through in my last video with another story. You can also go read the Hawaii stories, which tells us the same tale as Osiris and Isis. These have always been the points of the equinox. Every time we have a new equinox, there's a new split of the snake. The snake is now merging again. So Ra was that time that Mars was the first coming of Mars as the twin peak onto the cross. And now it's Aquarius, it's Saturn that takes back. It's not Mars. Mars and Venus are going to be the new Scorpio and Taurus. Taurus is Venus, Scorpio is Mars. Saturn is going to rule the equinox over here with Aquarius and Capricorn. And over on the east is going to be the sun and the moon, Australia. And they want a sun and the moon to be Narnia between America. They want to keep sun and moon. The east is the beast. But Saturn is going to be the new ruler to take us back and merge us back into the Twin Peaks, and only 144,000 get back. It's always the same. The wheel contracts and expands like the octopus moving through the waters, the abyss, and the octopus shows us that it expands and it merges back again. So who became representative in turn? Osiris and Isis represent fertility and order, while Seth and Memphis represent chaos to balance, but Osiris to balance out Osiris and Isis. Well, that's what we're living right now. Due to the duality of ancient Egyptian myths, this is only one of many creation stories. The Egyptians believed no specific myth was more correct than the other, rather than some combination of these myths was correct. This creation story, the Heliopolitan tradition, is one of the psychological creation. The other major creation traditions are the Memphite tradition and the Hermeopolitan Ogdode. Okay, so I covered that a lot in my last video, but this is really just showing where we are now. These 2 eclipses coming up, the solar and lunar. I think that the 10th of January is going to be the true Looney Tunes. We'll have the Boxing Day crowning. And we've got one hell of a year ahead of us. It doesn't have to be bad if we can stay in the center of this teacup storm, and we don't get crucified on this, this new age stuff. They're telling us that we're going into the age of Aquarius. We're not. It begins with Capricorn in 2020, and Capricorn is the female. The Virgo and Pluto generations born between 68 and 86. It's your time coming up. You will be in your elements coming when we come onto the Capricorn cross and the 2020 solstice. And, the drama is soon going to be over if you choose to ignore the drama and don't get lapped up onto this underworld, 13th sign leading us into the underworld. Okay, my darlings, please, I'm going to put my sites. Please come to me for readings. That's what I enjoy doing most, explaining to people your role, what you're up to, showing you who you are and what your purpose is, and joining the dots of your story here. I don't mention enough my work in these videos, so I'm looking forward to hearing from you. You can book readings through my site that I'll put in the link. All my love to you. Bye.